Reflections. The journey through the forest of knowing. The path ahead is quiet. A hush lingers in the air, as if the trees themselves are holding their breath. The moment you step into the woods, something shifts. Not in the world around you, but within. You are walking into something deeper than a place. The forest is not just trees and earth and sky. It is a space between thoughts, between moments. It is the silence between words, the pause before realization. It is an echo of something older than language, waiting to be heard. And as you step forward, you realize you are not alone. To dare. A sound, a rustle of leaves, a sharp breath, the fleeting snap of a twig. Then stillness. You pause. The silence stretches, and from within a voice emerges. You listened, the dare says. He stands before you, poised, yet ready to vanish in an instant. His body is still, but his ears are always moving. His gaze always searching. He tilts his head slightly, studying you, as if waiting for a question you have not yet asked. Listening is not only about sound, he says. It is about presence. Do you hear the birds singing? You do. It is a delicate sound, light as morning mist. This is good, but now listen to what you do not hear. If the bird stops singing, why? If the wind holds its breath, why? What is moving in the silence? His words sink in. The world around you shifts, but not in its appearance, but in your awareness of it. The forest is no longer just a collection of sounds. It is a conversation, full of voices, some speaking, some waiting to be noticed. Most only listen to what is given to them, the dare continues. They listen to words, but not to pauses. They listen to movement, but not to stillness. Yet the silence will tell you as much as the sound, if you learn to hear it. He steps back, his presence fading into the trees. Listen carefully, he says, but not just to what is there. Listen also to what is missing. The owl. The dare told you to listen, and then what? A low voice, edged with quiet amusement. The owl perches on a branch above, golden eyes catching the faintest traces of light. He listens to everything, that one, the owl continues. Jumps at every sound, every change in the wind. But tell me, when you listen, what do you feel? The question lingers. You answer carefully. Sometimes I know something before I understand why. The owl nods, approving. That is the thread beneath the surface. Call it intuition, knowing, or something else entirely. It does not matter. What matters is whether you trust it. He tilts his head. A sound in the night, a pause too long, a path that feels wrong before you have reason to believe it is. The dare listens for proof, but you, his eyes gleam, must listen to what is unseen. The mind will ask for reasons. It will want facts, logic, explanations. But sometimes knowing does not wait for proof. It is already there, waiting for you to recognize it. He ruffles his feathers, settling deeper into the shadows. Intuition is not guessing. It is not fear. It is the shape of truth, seen before it is fully formed. And then he is gone. The wolf. The air grows heavier, a different kind of silence. The kind that does not wait for you, it watches you. From between the trees, the wolf emerges. He does not hesitate. He does not second guess. His steps are deliberate, his path unwavering. What did the owl tell you? His voice is low, rough. To trust what I feel before I understand it, you answer. The wolf narrows his eyes. Then what will you do with that knowing? You hesitate. He steps closer. Listen well, he says, but do not stay frozen. Knowing is useless without movement. What good is seeing the path if you never take a step? His presence is unyielding, sharp-edged, not cruel, but unwilling to entertain hesitation. The deer will listen, the owl will see, but he exhales sharply, I will act. The weight of his words settles into your bones. You must decide what you will do with what you have learned. If you hesitate, the moment passes. If you doubt, the opportunity fades. Trust your path, then take it. Then, with a final glance, he vanishes into the shadows. The bear. A deep rumble, like distant thunder. The earth itself seems to hum. And then stillness. A presence, vast and quiet, sits before you. The bear watches you, unmoving. His breath is slow, steady, unshaken. You have learned to listen, to see, to act, he says. But do you know when to be still? You pause. Some think strength is only force, only motion, only power. But true strength is also stillness, knowing when to hold your ground, knowing when to let the storm pass through you without moving. His voice is low, like the roots of the forest speaking. The wolf taught you to move forward. But what if the right action is to wait, to hold? He lets the question settle. Then, simply, he closes his eyes. He does not disappear into the trees like the others. He remains unshaken. And you understand. The raven. A whisper of wings, a shadow that does not move like the others. The raven lands before you, head cocked, watching. So, he says, what have you learned? You hesitate. Ah, that means you have learned well. He flutters onto a branch, tilting his head. Lessons are only beginning points. No one can teach you what to do next. And that is for you to decide. The forest shifts. The path ahead is open. Where you go from here, that is your story. And with that, he takes flight. The bird. A sound. Not words. Not a lesson. Just birdsong. simple, beautiful, clear. You remember the deer's voice at the beginning. Do you hear the bird singing? Yes, and now you know why that matters. You step forward out of the woods into something new, into knowing.